Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Morning.
Good morning. And this is the sentencing, correct? All right, so, excuse me. So this is the sentencing. What ends up happening is someone has entered into a plea bargain agreement.
Right from the start, it's obvious this isn't some minor infraction. The charge is a felony, and that carries real weight. The rules are crystal clear. No weapons, no ammunition, and no room for slip-ups. The judge sets the tone immediately, making it clear that the courtroom is a place for facts, not excuses. For the defendant, this is the moment to face reality. Because the legal system isn't here to play around.
And probation will prepare a pre-sentence investigation report. It's the person's entire background, the criminal history if they have any. And then the state or the defense will get a chance to present whatever witnesses or evidence they want presented. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 007421, State versus Johnny Ruiz Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record? State, defense.
Ray Lopez for the defense.
And are you Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea on January 28th of no contest to the offense of collision involving death. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your application.
Let's take a moment to break this down. When the charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years, that doesn't mean the defendant is getting off light. It simply means the judge has the power to go all the way up to that limit. And on top of that, there's restitution owed to the victim's family. That's not just a legal formality. It's a heavy, emotional weight that lingers long after the case wraps up. No one walks away from this unchanged.
And there's to be restitution to the next of kin of the deceased. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, state? Defense, any witnesses?
To Your Honor, my client and his employer, who's going to be very brief.
Oh, well, it can take as long as it takes, but
Two witnesses.
all right, who would you like to call, counsel?
I'll call Mr. Reese.
All right, Mr. Ruiz, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
It's Johnny Reese Jr.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you're here today asking the court for probation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the court in your own words kind of what happened that day of the incident?
I had just gotten off of work that day. Went to a friend of mine's. We were supposed to catch up on a video game. That's what we did most of the night. From there, we got something to eat before we got any later, anything closed down. We ended up getting some Fred's fish that day. No, I believe they took a little bit longer. I fell asleep on a nap waiting for them. From by the time they got back, I noticed it was already late. Got some ice, what they brought. From there, I took off home for where we were staying at, where I was staying at. And during that moment, something happened and ended up. Sorry.
Now pay close attention. This is where things get serious. Ruiz says he didn't realize he had hit someone, but in the eyes of the law, that excuse doesn't carry much weight. In situations like this, what you should have known can be just as important as what you actually knew. Courts don't just look at intent. They consider responsibility. And failing to notice something that serious? That alone can lead to major consequences.
Noticed I had hit something. Wasn't too sure what it was. The fact that it was dark in that area. Drove a little bit further down, stopped. Before I saw light, I believe there was a hotel there. Figured maybe I'd stop there just in case you did see anything or anything happened. I was able to offer help, honk the horn, something. So when I went down, I didn't see anything. Didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nobody. Assuming that, I may have struck an animal or something. So I left, got to where I was staying at, and I saw there was damage on the windshield, of course. I didn't see anything, that indicated that there's a person, a dog, an animal. I'm pretty sure if I would have hit an animal or something, I would have saw blood or whatever the case is. But didn't see anything that I figured. I was like, maybe somebody threw something in my car. So, if there was nothing wrong, that's when I started thinking negative. And I would have stopped there, something would happen to me. Somebody did throw something in my car. At that point, I figured that I would have been okay. I didn't see nobody. Next morning, I knocked on the door. It was a detective who told me that there had been an accident. I might have been involved in something, an accident that happened down the street. I just couldn't believe it. It just said it was an accident under a person. I asked, was everything okay? Were they okay? The detective assured me that the person was fine. I picked him up. He was in the hospital. That he was going to be fine. Except they took me in that day as well. So I guess to the interrogation room or wherever they take me. They just asked me what happened that night. Same thing that I'm saying now. From that point, like I said, the detective assured me that he was going to be fine. He was okay. They just needed to find out what happened. Also told me that he was in the wrong because he was in the street. As far as what he told me, I didn't see who it was or what it was. He told me that it was a person. It just upset me. I just wouldn't think in my right mind it would have been.
And then comes the moment that changes everything. Ruiz finds out, months after the fact, that the victim didn't survive. That single detail shifts the entire case. What might have started as a hit and run now edges into much more serious territory. It's no longer just about fleeing the scene. It's about accountability for a life lost. And with that comes the very real possibility of prison time. The courtroom energy changes instantly, and so does the weight of every word that follows.
Somebody there walking in the middle of dark alley.
So when did you come to learn that the person that you hit in the collision ultimately passed away?
It wasn't until a few months later I had learned that he passed away 2 weeks after he had been struck.
And how do you feel about it? Can you tell us what your mind was going through when you learned that information?
Horrible. I gotta live with.
I'm sorry, what?
Something that I have to live with. It's a terrible feeling.
Do you still think about it to this day?
Think about it every day. Every day. Can't go to sleep. There's times when I stay up till 4, 5 in the morning. I gotta go to work the next day. I gotta work through it. It bothers me every day.
Why do you feel that you're a good candidate for probation?
I have a family. I have my kids. I have an obligation to support my kids. I love them a lot. After being away from them, not being able to help them, provide food. I've tried to.
This is where it really gets difficult. Ruiz breaks down, clearly shaken, offering to pay restitution and begging the court for probation. You can see the regret is real. But here's the legal dilemma. Is showing remorse enough to outweigh the damage that's already been done? A life was lost, and no apology, no matter how sincere, can reverse that. Judges have to weigh emotion against law, empathy against justice. So the question becomes, if you were sitting in that seat, what would you do? Would compassion guide your decision, or accountability?
But the state as well asked them, is there any way to pay any type of restitution? As well, kind of take responsibility for what's going on. And for the court to grant me probation, I can continue to do my best to work.
Now, have you been employed How long have you been employed for?
For the past year, I think we started in February. So it's a little over a year already.
And where are you employed at?
It's a company, it's a landscaping company.
And do you know if you'll be able to continue your employment after, if you get put on probation?
Yes, sure I will.
And aside from your children, do you have any other family members that you're helping to they rely on you?
Well, I mean, at the time, right now, it's, my kids, my mother's sick, other than that, she's disabled. So, I mean, I'd really like to get to be more involved with her as well.
And have you had any have you ever been arrested in the past 20 years?
No.
And you
I've
haven't?
never been arrested.
And how old are you?
38 years old.
Okay, so you had a few incidences when you were a minor.
Well, I believe so. I think it was, I think in middle school. No, there was one incident that I went to juvie for a day or so. I can't remember how long it was.
But since you've been an adult, you have not had any issues with the law until
No.
this incident. Last witness.
Any questions?
Yes, Judge. So Mr. Ruiz, at the time of the offense, you were staying at a roadway inn that was located on Enrique Barrera Parkway, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so the accident happened somewhere on Old Highway 90, is that correct?
Yeah.
And so those locations are kind of close to each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you kind of give me an idea? You said that you stopped at a hotel. Did you stop at the roadway inn or a different hotel?
Well, I mean, where I was staying, I can't remember what it was called. I think there's several hotels that are there. I stopped at the very first one. Like I said, where I saw that there was some kind of light. Because it was dark in that area.
Okay, so you stopped at a different hotel, not the hotel that you were staying at.
No, stopped at a different hotel. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so regarding your vehicle is a relatively small vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
It was a smart passion, like a smart car, is that correct? Okay, and so it had a good amount of damage to it, wouldn't you agree with me? So it had the broken windshield concentrated on the passenger side, right?
Yeah.
And then it also had passenger side body damage, correct? And then the broken, or the headlight on the passenger side was also broken. And then the passenger side mirror was also missing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And so, in the PSI and in your testimony today, you said that there's a lot of dogs in the area. Is that correct? Okay. And so you said possibly you thought that you hit a dog.
Yes.
The evidence that I've seen in the case suggests to me that when the complainant was hit, the body flew up onto the windshield, causing that impact. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you were to hit a dog, obviously a dog is not as tall as a human, right?
Yes.
And so if you were to hit a dog, you would have felt the impact of rolling over the dog, right?
Possible, but for that type of vehicle, it's so low to the ground and tiny. Anything hits that windshield goes up.
Okay.
Because it's such an incline, that smart car.
So you think it's possible if you would have hit a dog that the dog also would have flew up onto the...
As well.
Okay. And so then I have some other questions. So you said the first time that you learned that you were involved in a collision involving a person was when the detective came to the hotel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And before the detective took you downtown to take a statement from you, he kind of spoke to you at your hotel room, right?
Yeah.
And so when he was speaking to you at that point, you told him that you believe that the damage to your vehicle was caused by a tree that had fell on the vehicle, right? Okay. And so you weren't forthcoming with him at that time, right? Okay. And regarding, who is Cecilia Rodriguez?
That was supposed to be my wife or my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
At this time.
And is she the mother of one of your children?
Yes.
Okay. And so she has no reason to say anything false against you, right?
She should.
Okay. And she was staying with you at the roadway and at that time, right? All right. And so Cecilia stated that she confronted you. So Cecilia noticed the damage, right, that night?
No, she didn't go out that night. She didn't see nothing that night.
Was it in the morning that
It
she
was in
saw
the
it?
morning.
Okay, and so when she sees the damage to the vehicle, she confronts you about it and you tell her you don't know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then she stated that based on what she saw, she believed that you hit something, right?
I don't know exactly what she said. No.
Okay, so if that evidence is stipulated too, so I'll just move on. But Cecilia also stated that she believed that you looked inebriated on that day when you returned to the hotel room that night. Were you under the influence of alcohol or drugs?
No.
Why would Cecilia say that?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, because she wasn't even present of anything. You know, when I walked in trying to figure out what was going on, undressed myself and got into, you know, my sleep clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really even talk to her that much. I mean, when I got there, she was already asleep. When I, you know, you got a key card to walk in.
Mm-hmm.
So she was asleep. Like, I don't see why she would say.
Okay, and then who's Edward Vargas?
That's a friend of mine that was, well, at the time was a friend. He was in the vehicle as well.
Okay, and so does he have any reason to say anything false against you? Okay, so my question is, why would Edward Vargas and Cecilia Rodriguez say that you told both of them that you saw something on the news regarding a hit and run?
That was afterwards.
That was in the morning, right?
Yeah, that was in the morning.
Before the police showed up at your hotel?
Like, yeah.
Okay, so you had some knowledge of what was going on, correct?
Yes.
All right, and just going back to Cecilia, she stated that you stated to her that you hit someone, and when you told her that, she rolled back over and went to bed.
I didn't talk to her as much as, you know, she was already in bed when I got there.
Okay, so all those other